Welcome to the revolution. J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter video game are taking heat for seemingly no reason at all. Okay, J.K. Rowling wrote the Harry Potter series, and I put out a post a few days ago now, talking about how J.K. Rowling has been vehemently posting about how she is against the movement of men wearing wigs, pretending to be women, and moving into female spaces under the guise of being trans. Okay. She has been very public in her disavowing of this movement, of calling out the people that were allowed to be moved into jail cells who were like actual 6'4" murderers going into jail with women, like because they were calling themselves trans and wearing a wig. So she's been very, very public about this. And thankfully there's actually some people with the balls to do this that have this big of a platform, because she's taken a ton of heat for it. Right. And now here's what's going on with it. It says, why is Hogwarts Legacy, a Harry Potter video game, so controversial? Right. Now the cliff notes of this is going to be that she doesn't agree with the trans agenda, and she believes it's an encroachment on feminine spaces and on femininity as a whole. Right? Men putting on a wig, saying they feel like a woman, wearing makeup, watching some YouTube contouring classes, and then all of a sudden going to pee in a women's bathroom as a result. She doesn't agree with it. Okay? So now everybody's calling for boycotts of the Harry Potter game, and like everybody's like, from Twitter perspective, and all of these like people trying to review Harry Potter are like towing the line, but also really pissed that this video game is just crushing it. It's a sweet looking video game. I can't wait to play it. And I haven't played video games in quite a while. But this one is one that I will almost go out and buy a new gaming system just to be able to play. It looks incredible. So it's a role-playing game of Harry Potter. You start out as if you are a not a new student, a fifth-year student at Hogwarts, and then you go through and you can create your character, you can go on missions, it looks amazing. And like, for all of us that grew up on Harry Potter, like, this is a dream come true, that you have something like this incredible technology. Like the picture that I'm looking at of Harry flying a hippogriff right now, which is like an eagle mixed with a horse, if you don't know the Harry Potter series, just looks unbelievable. Like, it looks beautiful. All right. And now they're calling for people to boycott it over her position on trans ideology. Now, here's what I have to say, just as like a meta point over all of this, is that I just got done. I've been on a little bit of a fiction kick recently. I haven't read very much fiction in my life at all. So I'm going back and reading like all the OG stuff, right? Like this started a little bit, well, I actually say it started with fairy tale. I just finished probably a month ago, Stephen King's new book that was the #1 book of 2022, which was Fairy Tale, which is an incredible, incredible book. I would highly recommend you go read it. It's a bit thick. It's like 700 pages. It was a bit thick for me to read for my very first fiction book in probably 10 years. But it was very good. Captivated my attention. It's an incredible story, beautifully written, like so much, like it's great. I would highly, highly recommend it. Fairy Tale by Stephen King. Go check it out. Literally, if you have a library card, and just go buy it from Amazon anyways, 'cause it's like $15. But here's the deal. I don't agree with the things that Stephen King said about politics. I don't agree with his positions on politics. He's constantly calling out the right. He's very liberal in his ideology. He does not agree with the Second Amendment. I could give two shits what Stephen King thinks about politics. You know what? He's an incredible writer. And I don't care what he thinks about politics. He's an amazing artist. And regardless of his political stance, just like I would be friends with anybody who's on any side of the spectrum, right? I don't think that you need to condemn somebody's life work because they disagree with you politically. Then that literally means that you're going to take 50% of the, maybe not 50% of the artist, just with the way that personality traits lie when it comes to leaning left or being right, but a good portion of the talented people in the world. And if you're on the right and you have a problem with artists who are left leaning, then you literally are like out of 75% of the conversations when it actually comes to enjoying art, enjoying music, enjoying Hollywood, like Hollywood movies. Like you're just out of the conversation in the whole. So like maybe in part this is just like self-preservation in my appreciation of art in this lifetime. But I just don't see how you can take somebody's political opinion and just completely discount their life's work and discount something that this universe that they built beautifully and incredibly over how much of their life that you like made my childhood at points. It was the only fiction books I really read growing up that I was just like really remember reading. I read all the Harry Potter books. My grandma gave them to me every year that they came out, and I read them every year. I loved Harry Potter, loved all the movies, right? And if it was Stephen King that wrote it, I would still enjoy it. And if the game was badass and looked like this, I would still play it. I don't care about you. That's the difference to me between the left and the right. Is that the left is going to like, and maybe that's a powerful thing for the left, at least. Maybe that's something that you can give them is like, man, they're really sticking by it. If you're not going to go play this sick Harry Potter game because she spoke out against men being allowed in women's prisons after they murdered people, like that's your position, then you're sticking to your guns pretty hard, because I would still play this game for sure. Right. So let's read this article. We'll see what this is coming from Polygon. Not sure what the hell that website is, but let's read it. It says Hogwarts Legacy, on the face of it, should have been a pure wish fulfillment for millions of fans who have been enchanted by the lore of Harry Potter's world over the last 25 years. In the video game launching next week, players will live the life of mystery and adventure that comes with being a student at pop culture's foremost school of witchcraft and wizardry. Still, Hogwarts Legacy and the Harry Potter franchise trouble many fans for reasons outside the video game's story or context. Why is that? We'll now go further behind the Wizarding World curtains to explain the controversy. The game, which was announced at PlayStation's State of Play event in September 2020, Hogwarts Legacy is an open-world action RPG adventure in which the player enrolls in Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. The player character is user-generated. However, they're a fifth-year student, so they'll begin the game with some advanced magical aptitude. Why is the game controversial? Mainly because the public stances that author and series creator J.K. Rowling has chosen to take regarding gender identity going back to 2018. Her views came into full display in the summer of 2020. At the time, Scotland, Rowling is a resident of Edinburgh, writing most of Harry Potter series there, was considering changing its laws to allow individuals to change the gender assigned in their birth certificates without a medical diagnosis. After a couple of years of coy social media gestures and replies on the subject on June 10th of 2020, Rowling published a confrontational 3,600-word essay on her personal website spelling out her views on gender identity, her skepticism of transgender inclusive laws and policies, and the new trans activism. Rowling invoked her own survival of domestic abuse and sexual assault, while also raising a discredited hypothetical about male sexual predators being allowed into restrooms for girls and women as long as they identify as one. There's nothing hypothetical about that. There's literally countless articles out there of predators. There's literally a school where they silenced the girl and their parents for talking about this boy that was coming into the women's locker room and preying on women. Like, I'm pretty sure raped them in this locker room. And then the school was standing up for the boy who was identifying as a girl, and literally raped these girls. And like, that's not a discredited hypothetical to say that this is happening. Like, if you are a predator, why would you not do that? It's literally a backdoor, like, workaround loophole to being able to be a fucking creep. And all you have to do is throw a wig on and nobody gets to say anything to you. Like, that. Yeah, not a discredited hypothetical. Anyways, since the June 2020 editorial, Rowling has continued to engage with the subject of transgender identity from the same point of view. Her crime novel, It's the Wine, Troubled Blood, also published in 2020 under the nom de plume Robert Galbraith. Well, that was pretty good. Tells the story of a serial killer who dresses as a woman when he carries out his murders. LGBTQ plus advocacy organizations condemned it, and Rowling's other writings as harmful and suborning the harm and discrimination of transgender persons, although some of Rowling's celebrity colleagues publicly came to her defense. Is she developing it? Reportedly not. Immediately after Hogwarts Legacy Worldwide revealed in September 2020, publishers Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment posted they frequently asked questions that distanced the project from Rowling. Hogwarts Legacy is not a new story from Rowling, adding that Rowling is not directly involved in the creation of the game. All right, it says, obviously, however, it is built on the Harry Potter canon and concepts that Rowling has developed since the book Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, which was published in 1997. Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment put its Utah-based studio Avalanche Software on Hogwarts Legacy. WBIE acquired Avalanche. Who cares? All this said, Rowling's inevitably benefits from the publication and sale of Hogwarts. Like, yeah, of course. Whether that's in the form of royalties, a specific payment to adapt to her work. Who cares? Who cares? Yeah. Who cares? Yes, she's involved. She literally created this entire universe in her head, along with all of the characters, all of the games, all of the spells, the entire school that you're going to, all of it. And if you care to put a political statement down to not play it, she does not give a flying shit, as she said on Twitter. Literally actually said that on Twitter. I'll read you verbatim. She said, you're not required to buy it. She retweeted this from Solomon Rushdie. You're not required to buy it. The truth is the truth, whether you buy it or not. The planet is round, even if you don't buy that and insist it's flat. But whoever tweeted that or retweeted somebody talking about it deleted this, so I can't tell what the context of that was. But it seems to be about the video game. I would assume it is. But another tweet by J.K. Rowling said, I don't know about you, but excluding women from women's prisons just because they've got penises, male pattern baldness, and have committed a couple rapes seems awfully turfy to me. And that was a response to, does Scotland's first prime minister believe all trans women are women? Yeah, because they recently in Scotland said that men could not go live in women's prisons just because they think they're a girl. So, anyways, let's go back and see if there's anything of merit on this. Here's something that Jesse Earl said. No idea who that is, but don't really care. Any support of the Harry Potter franchise, current projects, while J.K. Rowling is in charge of it and using her ongoing platform to target and also justify her continued targeting of trans people, is harmful to trans people. I will not begrudge anyone their love of past works or things they've already owned that they take comfort in. I own the first 9 movies and all 7 books myself, but any support of something like Hogwarts Legacy is harmful. It's so harmful to say that men who raped women should not be in prison with women. And then J.K. Rowling said, deeply disappointed Jesse Granger doesn't realize pure think is incompatible with owning anything connected with me in any form. The true righteous wouldn't just burn their books and movies, but the local library, anything with an owl on it, and their own pet dogs. Do better. Way to go, J.K. Rowling. Yeah. So it's the fact that they're like trying to say that you should just outright not play this game at all, to me is like comical. Like I said, I read Stephen King's book. I think that you should go read Stephen King's book, regardless of his political opinion. It's a phenomenal book. Harry Potter is a phenomenal, apparently a video game now. It's phenomenal books. Who cares about their political ideology? You should appreciate good art, regardless of what they think. In a world where, like 50 years ago, you would have never even known these things to begin with. So like, who cares? Go read Stephen King. Go read J.K. Rowling. Who cares? Appreciate good art and art for what it is. And if you don't agree with their political opinions, then don't follow them on Twitter. Who gives a shit? Right? Those are my thoughts.